Hi y'all. I just finished filming a review on these contour palettes, and I figured since I had everything set up, I would go ahead and try to film a couple of things. So you'll be seeing this in a few videos. Hope you don't mind. I will try to space them out, I think, so that it doesn't look like I only have one outfit to wear. But anyway, I thought I would kind of do a little sort of life update slash how-to. As you can tell from the title of this video, the how-to part is how to survive unemployment. I have recently found myself without a job. Yeah, that was pretty sad. I really wasn't happy in my job. It was still, you know, it was still really kind of upsetting. And more than that, just scary. I had been laid off 4 years prior, which is a whole nother story that I'm still bitter about, so I don't want to get into it. And so I've kind of learned a few tips and tricks on how to make the most of your unemployment and to survive. So some of this is going to be kind of tongue-in-cheek, and some of this is going to be practical and helpful, I hope. So if you're interested in kind of hearing a little bit about how to make the most of and survive unemployment, then keep on watching. Okay, so as I said, a couple of weeks ago, I found myself unemployed. I was not happy in my job. My boss knew that I was looking, and I guess that's kind of one of the reasons why they decided to let me go as opposed to other people, because they figured I would find something and be gone eventually anyway. Whereas the other people that they kept had been with the company for a while and weren't going anywhere. It's still a very scary thing, and I think you know, most people when they get laid off, there's like this sort of combination of indignation and fear. You know, we're basically talking about survival here. You know, your survival instincts kick in and you're, you know, alone on the Sahara, and all of a sudden all of your means for providing for yourself are taken away, and it's a scary situation. It's really scary, but it's really important to push past that because, you know, sitting at your house being upset or being afraid isn't really going to help you find anything else. So the first thing that I would say is, you know, have your emotion, but push past it, because you've got to find a new job. You have to. Number two, I would say work your network. I just had a sneaking suspicion that, you know, I was going to be one of the people that got laid off. The company that I was working for, it was in the oil and gas industry. And so while everyone else in the world is enjoying lower gas prices, those of us down south who are connected to the oil and gas industry are losing their jobs. So you're welcome, I guess. But anyway, the company that I was working for had to do a series of layoffs, and I just really just had a feeling that it was going to be me, that I was going to be one of those people. And so I had already kind of started looking, but the day that I got laid off, my boss had come in, and I just saw it on his face before he even said anything. I mean, he was there for probably an hour before the deed was done, and I just, as soon as I saw him walk in, I just knew. And so I stopped what I was doing, and I spammed out my resume to several people that that I knew that were, you know, to several people in my network, and then I went back to my duties. And within 15 minutes of doing that, my boss came over to my desk and called me into the conference room, and yeah, that was a good time. So as soon as I got home, I continued. I sent out emails, I posted stuff on Facebook, I contacted recruiters that I knew, and then I talked on the phone with a lot of former colleagues in industries that I had worked in previously, and got some other contact names, and just started kind of generating a list of people to contact and places to look and things like that. So, so yeah, I hit the ground running, and I did that pretty much every day for the first 2 weeks without stopping. I would get up in the morning and I would work my network. I would get on LinkedIn. I would, you know, email people. I would Facebook people. And then of course I would get on job boards and start searching, which is number 3. Be familiar with the job boards that are most relevant to your geographic location and also your vocation. Even if you are in a job that you are happy with, there is no guarantee that you are still going to have that job. Unless you are the owner of the company or you are like seriously upper level management, they have invested, oodles of time and money in, you are expendable. That's just the bottom line. If the powers that be have to choose between their profitability and their salary and yours, they're going to pick theirs any day of the week and twice on Sunday. That's just the way it is. So, like I said, even if you are happy and feel well established in your job, I would make it a habit of at least a few times a year getting on job sites. You can even set up searches that you can customize them to fit the criteria for the type of job that you're looking for in the location that you're looking for and within the salary range that you need. So just to keep your toe in the resources, so that if the time comes and you need to look for a job, you're not having to learn how to operate these job boards or how to best search these things. You can just hop on and hit the ground running. The other benefit to kind of being on these job boards before you actually have to find a job is it kind of gives you an idea of what the market looks like in your area, and also what people really are looking for the most. My experience prior to my last position was kind of a niche thing. It was marketing for engineering firms, which is different than marketing for a bank or marketing for a law firm or whatever. So one of the, and there just aren't a lot of jobs like that out there. However, there's transferable skills. So by looking and seeing what types of jobs are being advertised, you can kind of take that information and tailor your resume to make it seem a little less niche and a little more broadly applicable to other places that you might be applying. They won't have to translate as much. You can kind of do the translation for them in your resume and kind of make your resume stronger and more competitive when it does come time to submit it. The other thing that I would recommend is keeping yourself on a schedule. The first couple of weeks, I have to admit, even though I was working hard, I was pretty emotional this time. I was way more emotional this time than I was. I'm gonna cry again. Oh, sheesh. I was way more emotional this time than I was the first time I got laid off. And I think part of that is just because I had never been laid off before the first time. And my experience with trying to find a job was I needed a job. I went to the classifieds. I found something. I applied for it. I got an interview and I was offered a job the same day. Like that was kind of my experience up to that point. But the first time I was laid off, it took me 2 months to find a job. And every other interview that I went on, it was just really disappointing. They didn't want to pay me what I was worth or what I had worked up to. So that was hard too. So going into this one, I knew what I was in for. I knew what to expect, and it was not confidence inspiring, I didn't have the same kind of blissful ignorance that I did the first time. So the first week or so, I really didn't do this, and I really wish that I had. I kind of wallowed a little bit, if I'm honest. But being on a routine is really, really helpful because it just helps you to feel more stable and more secure, even though you're in a situation that is very unstable and that would make you feel very insecure. So having a routine is really important. The other thing is that I've actually gotten calls of people saying, hey, I got your resume. Can you come in and talk today? Well, if you've been wallowing in your filth for, 3 days and you haven't showered, it's going to take some doing to get ready. But if you've been in the habit of getting up and getting dressed and being presentable, then it'll only take you a few minutes to kind of throw something together and get out the door and go meet this potential new employer. So there's a practical side to it, and then there's also the emotional side where it just kind of helps you to just kind of feel like, life is, you have solid ground under your feet. So yeah, keep yourself on a schedule. The other thing kind of that goes with this is keep an interview outfit ready, ironed, or, hanging up or something, ready to go, where you don't have to worry about ironing anything. You don't have to worry about washing anything. It's there and it's ready at any moment's notice. You can just slip that bad boy on and head out the door. Okay, next thing, just make time to still enjoy life. finding a job is definitely a full-time job, and it can be a very, very, very stressful time. But you have to still live life. You have to still spend time with your friends, spend time with your family, do things that you enjoy, so that your entire life is not just, you know, searching for a job and not finding a job and feeling discouraged and, you know, waiting for the phone to ring and all of those kinds of things. So you definitely need to make time for yourself, you know. But the other side of that is when you're looking for things to do, try to keep the cost of it in mind. Don't just go and spend away, and don't let one of those things be shopping or going out to eat every day or whatever, just because you don't know how long you're going to be unemployed, and you don't know how long you're going to need to have your money stretch. So so that's my next tip, is just don't be spendy. You know, if you've never used coupons before, now's probably a really good time to start. You know, I have never meal planned, but I have started, and just to try to get the most bang for my buck and in the area, and tighten the purse strings as much as I can in areas that I can. I had a few subscription services that I canceled, and just kind of look over your budget, basically, is the point of this one. Look over your budget and see what you can do to cut your spending as much as possible so that you can hold on to whatever funds you have, and you don't get to a point where you have to start maxing out credit cards or borrowing money from your parents or whatever the case may be. So because you really just don't know how long it's going to take you to find a job. The market is not great right now, especially in the area that I live in, and you know, just, it's very uncertain times when you lose your job. So just be very, very wise with your money. And the last thing I would say is, chin up, buttercup. You know, there are worse things that could happen to somebody than losing their job. And, you know, honestly, in my case, it was their loss. I did a good job. My tendency has always been to leave something better than I found it. And I feel like I did that in both of the last 2 jobs that I had and lost. So just be confident in your abilities. And if you're a person of faith like I am, be confident that the Lord has all well in hand, and you will be taken care of. You know, try to remind yourself of times when it seemed like all is lost, and you were, whatever shall become of me, you know, but it worked out and it was fine. And so just hang on to those, you know, and do all the other things. You know, be prepared, be consistent, be as structured and stable as you can. Enjoy the people that are in your life. Enjoy the little break from working, and just hang in there, because it'll be okay. Oh, and one last thing I wanted to say is, don't be afraid to kind of seek out part-time flexible employment. That's something that I'm actually in the process of looking for right now. You know, someplace that they're well aware this is just kind of a stopgap to help supplement your lack of income until you find something permanent, and give you a little bit more of a cushion again, because you don't know how long things are going to last. So those are my thoughts on how to survive unemployment. I guess I really didn't have too many tongue-in-cheek things in there after all. It was more of a practical thing, but I guess that's kind of where I am right now. So maybe in my next video I'll have something a little bit more silly to share, since this channel is called Diary of a Silly Woman, but you know, I guess we can't be silly every day. So I hope you found this video helpful or informative, or if nothing else, as usual, if it just made you feel better about your own life because you have a job, then please consider giving this video a thumbs up and subscribing. It would make me do a little happy dance. Until next time, y'all take care, and I'll see you soon. Bye.